Introduction to Data AD. Tianming from the secondary league has obtained the Data God system. As long as his post-match data exceeds his opponent's, he can gain experience points to improve his strength. So, Tianming became the best newcomer AD in the secondary league. In the S7 summer tournament, IG striker West performed poorly. After discussion with the coaching staff, Tianming was mentioned to the IG first team. The gears of fate begin to turn. When IG held a cup at the Bird's Nest for an interview, Su Xiaoluo sighed and said, "I'm glad I made the most correct choice in that moment." The IG team member commented, "He is the god of AD position." For Tianming himself, the most memorable moment will always be the dawn when he was promoted to the first team. When the sun pierces through the darkness, I know that the long night will eventually pass and dawn will come. Chapter 1. At the end of the night and dawn, data becomes a divine system. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. The S7 summer tournament features the match between IG and SNG playing on the screen. The audience was roast about the bladder game. West's big mouth stood out and SNG caught the opportunity to successfully end the game. 666 I can eat 3 big bowls with the operation of Emperor Shi. Can't IG find AD? Why are you keeping him? Sigh, it would be great if JK could get on. Amidst the barrage of heated discussions, there was a frenzy of anger about the West. Su Xiaoluo's eyes darkened even more. This version of the Big Mouth Do is almost invincible in its later development. In theory, it should have been an opportunity for West to play, but West fell off the chain at a critical moment. Coach Maffa glanced at Jakalov sitting next to the water dispenser and thought to himself that he didn't know which West 8 had reported it. If Jakalov could play, IG's record would definitely be even higher. Everyone present can see how much West weighs, but there is no suitable person to replace him. Jakalov is not old enough to play. The effect of Kid and Ning playing AD is not much better than West, and the two mainly focus on playing in the wild. After trying it out, the West is actually the optimal solution. The atmosphere was silent and eerie, and the door to the lounge was pushed open. Several IG team members returned to their seats, feeling lost. The feeling guilty West lowered his head when he returned. Seeing this, Su Xiaoluo couldn't easily vent his anger, but a seed of replacement took root and sprouted in his heart. After the game, Su Xiaoluo found Maffa. West made multiple mistakes and coincidentally heard that their second team AD performed exceptionally well. He intends to bring the second team AD to the first team and now wants to hear Maffa's thoughts. Su Xiaoluo handed Maffa a document with basic information about the second team AD. Name: Tianming. Age: 18. ID, Dawn. Location: AD proficient in heroes. Big Mouth, Cold Ice, Easy, Callista. Introduction. Joined IG's second team at the end of the S6 summer season, and won the Best Newcomer award in the secondary professional league in the S7 spring season. Maffa knew that Su Xiaoluo had the idea of changing people. Competition is like a battlefield, and changing people on the battlefield is a taboo. Although it's a Western dish, it's still not comparable to the second team AD as it's an LPL dish. However, seeing Su Xiaoluo's firm gaze, he didn't want to argue against him. He simply followed Su Xiaoluo's words and said that he could bring up the second team AD to give it a try. Su Xiaoluo was even more swift and found the manager of the second team as soon as possible. On the other side, IG Team 2. The night has not completely faded. Tianming was training when the door suddenly slammed. The manager of the second team strode over to Tianming and excitedly said, "Tianming, stop fighting. Grass. It's dead." Being interrupted by him, the operation suddenly deformed, causing the screen to turn black. Taking advantage of the resurrection time, Tianming turned around to look at his manager, who had a rebellious personality, and said helplessly, "I can kill 5 people this time." Now that I have been annihilated by the opposing team, how can I compensate? Cut. The manager looked at him contemptuously and said, "You are at least 5,000 behind the other side's economy. What are you doing with the 5 kills? You don't understand." Tianming murmured and then asked the manager what was going on, feeling so panicked. The manager originally wanted to play a trick, but when he saw Tianming turn his head back, he speechlessly shared the news he had just received. Ah! Tianming froze. After realizing it, he still couldn't believe it and said, "You said I was promoted to the first team." Absolutely true. Yu reading www.uukangshu.net. The manager looked serious. Upon confirmation, Tianming couldn't help but grin heartily. Countless days and nights, his persistence finally did not go to waste. Since crossing into this parallel world, he has been training day and night to advance to LPL, and now he has finally achieved his wish. That's right, in fact, Tianming is not an indigenous person of this world, but has traveled from S13 to this parallel world. In this parallel world, esports has developed similarly to its predecessor. And like all the travelers, he also obtained his own system. The Data God system. The system function is very simple. As long as the post-match data exceeds the opponent, he can gain experience points from the opponent to enhance his strength. So, he controlled Thunderbolt in the secondary league, becoming the undisputed number 1 AD and winning the Best Newcomer award. But the water in the secondary league is too deep. He lacks attention and is often approached for fake matches. Even more uncomfortable is that the system has entered a bottleneck period. Defeating a weak team doesn't have much experience value, and playing against a strong team at the current level of IG's second team won't win. After all, the alliance is a team game. No matter how strong it is, it cannot be a one-on-one battle. So, his strength has not gone any further for a long time. Now being mentioned as a team, Tianming saw the opportunity to break through and couldn't help but be overjoyed. The manager was reluctant but also happy for him. The two of them chatted and laughed, and time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, the sunrise rose, dispelling the last trace of darkness from the outside world. The manager looked out the window and couldn't help but mutter to himself, "It's dawn." Tianming also sighed, "Yes, it's dawn." At night, the sky shines brightly. Chapter 2. IG's 4S. Class Talent Players. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Are you leaving today? Go on, it's dawn. Come back and take a look when you have time. I finally managed to get through it. I had already noticed that you were not a member of the pool. Be careful when going to the first team, don't be as casual as you are with us. At the entrance of IG's second team, Tianming looked at his teammates with reluctant eyes and let out a slight sigh in his heart. After getting along for a long time, suddenly leaving feels empty in my heart. But there is no banquet that never ends, and LPL is the most important turning point in his life. Everyone, go back quickly. Maybe I'll be back soon. Don't say anything discouraging, go to the first team and cheer well, give our second team a good face. The manager patted Tianming's shoulder and said, "Let's go, I'll see you off." Lifting the suitcase, Tianming and the manager gradually drifted away. As they watched their backs gradually disappear, their teammates envied them but also showed a look of melancholy. "Brother, when will they be able to make it through?" IG Team 1. Tianming stood in front of the base gate, looking dazed. The base of the first team is not much more magnificent than that of the second team, but its significance is completely different. Although the second-tier league and LPL are only one level apart, their popularity differs by tens of times or even more. Even if you have a soft spot in the second-tier league honors, it may not be as well known as a mediocre player in LPL. For a contestant, LPL is the stage where they can truly showcase themselves. In a daze, a figure appeared in front of him. "Are you Dawn player?" I'm IG's team leader. Manager Su is a bit busy now, let me come and pick you up. Thank you for bothering you. Yi Tianming didn't care either. As a player promoted by the second team, it was impossible for Su Xiaoluo to personally pick him up. Follow the leader into the base and take a casual look at the cafeteria and living area. He doesn't care about these things, his mood is very complicated now, with excitement and confusion. Excited to join the first team, lost in fear of not being able to stand firm in the first team. When he was lost in thought, the team leader took him to the training room. At this moment, a young man wearing an IG team uniform walked towards him, and it was IG's starting single Rookie. After seeing the leader, Rookie greeted him with a smile and then glanced at Yi Tianming behind the leader. Having lived in IG for so long, he has some impression of Yi Tianming. The AD from the second team. Let me take him over. That's really very grateful. The leader said a few polite words before turning around and leaving, as he still had a lot of work to do. Yi Tianming followed Rookie, his gaze fixed. View the other party's information. The next second, Rookie's data panel appears. ID, Rookie Talent. S.level. The range of talent levels from small to large is F.SS, F is the minimum threshold for professional talent, SS is the maximum limit for professional talent, next is the attribute. The attributes are divided into 8 aspects. Operation, awareness, reaction, hand speed, support, team cooperation, game understanding, and command. Rookie attribute. Operation. 97 awareness. 95 reaction. 97 hand speed. 95 support. 91 team collaboration. 92 game understanding. 80 command. 75 average attribute value. 90 from the data panel, the average attribute value of Rookie reached a terrifying 90. Except for the command and game understanding below 90, all other attributes reached 90+, especially the operation and response were as high as 97. Yi Tianming took a breath and was shocked by Rookie's attributes. Undoubtedly an S.level talent. With a hint of emotion, Yi Tianming continued to look at the data panel. Features. Eating grass for milking. Eating grass to milk. Eating at a lower cost can also deal high damage, often with excellent damage conversion rates. Fa Shen. Has a special fondness for French heroes, with a proficiency level of +1 for French heroes and a training speed of +1 for French heroes. Hero Pool. Cinderella, S, Fairy, S, Clockwork Demon, S, Jess, S, Lucian, A, Victor, A, Czar. Seeing the column of Hero Pool, Yi Tianming was also dumbfounded. A long string that cannot be seen, and the system rating is either S or A. What is this concept? The system rating represents the player's proficiency in controlling the hero, similar to the talent rating, with a minimum rating of F and a maximum rating of SS. A rating between F and C indicates that one can use it on the field, but the effect is average. A rating between B and S represents the opportunity to shine on the field after winning. UU reading www.uukangshu. Net. As for the SS level, Yi Tianming has not encountered it yet. Rookie, this hero pool, it can no longer be called the hero pool, it should be called the hero C. After reading Rookie's data panel, Yi Tianming's sense of superiority due to having a system immediately dissipated. Some people are born to eat this bowl of rice, and life is more like cheating than cheating. But he didn't underestimate himself either. Indeed, his current strength is not as good as Rookie's, but he can continue to grow through competitions. His future goes beyond that. There was nothing to say along the way. Quickly, the two walked into the IG training room. At a glance, the Shy, Ning, Jakalov, West, and Megan were all training in their seats. Are you here? Seeing Yi Tianming, Su Xiaoluo walked over to him with a smile and clapped his hands, saying, "Everyone, stop." Everyone looked at Su Xiaoluo. Su Xiaoluo said, "This is AD Yi Tianming from the second team. The veteran players should also be familiar with him. Now that he has come to our big family, we hope that everyone can get along harmoniously and create good results together in the future." Applause and welcome. Pop pop pop. Applause rang out. However, at this moment, Yi Tianming was staring blankly ahead. It's not because of anything else, but because of the Shy Talent Rating. Ning Talent Rating. Jakalov Talent Rating. If Rookie is included, IG has a team of 4 S.level players. True Immortal Teammate. Chapter 3. Understanding Skills, Debut begins. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The next day, IG Weibo announced that Yi Tianming had been promoted from the second team to the first team. This news is like sinking into the sea, without causing any waves in the esports industry. The movement of a second team AD will obviously not be followed by anyone, and of course, there is also a reason why the popularity of IG Club is not high. At this moment, LPL is still under the control of the three royal families. The three companies are WE, EDG, and RNG. Although IG used to be an ancient powerhouse, its performance has always been lukewarm. It wasn't until IG's performance improved this year that fans began to gradually increase. But this is also relatively speaking, compared to the imperial household, IG clearly lacks strength. IG Training Room. It has been a few days since Yi Tianming arrived in the first team. During this period, he played several training matches under the arrangement of the team, and the results were average. The intensity and pace of LPL matches far exceed that of the secondary league. In just a few days, the team cannot adapt at all, and IG is not good at operation, and the training matches are played in a chaotic manner. Su Xiaoluo was quite disappointed, but there were no unexpected emotions. There is indeed an insurmountable gap between the second and first teams. Tianming, you can first rank and heat up your hands. Afraid of Yi Tianming's disappointment, Su Xiaoluo patted his shoulder and comforted him, "Don't worry, no matter what, we will let you try it out in the competition." Saying it's a try is actually a test. If you play well in the main match, there is still a chance to stay in the first team. If you don't play well, you will have to send Yi Tianming back to the second team. To Su Xiaoluo's surprise, Yi Tianming did not have any negative emotions after listening to his words, and his expression was quite calm. This made Su Xiaoluo appreciate this second team shooter a bit. As a professional player, especially a shooter in a critical C. position, mindset is sometimes more crucial than operation. Some players usually play well, but at critical moments, Red One drops the chain and cannot seize opportunities. After comforting Yi Tianming a few more words, Su Xiaoluo gestured for West to log into his account and play a training match. Time passes day by day. In several main matches, West started and successfully won the game. This is actually not good news for Yi Tianming, as his training matches are decreasing. I could have played a few more games, but now most of the training matches are played by West. Regarding this, Yi Tianming appeared calm on the surface, but couldn't help but think in his heart where the problem was. Compared to West, he far surpasses West in both talent and attributes, but he just can't produce any results in training matches. In a daze, the screen turned into black and white colors. Yi Tianming sighed and then took a deep breath to adjust his mood. He was not defeated by this setback, no matter how difficult it was better than not seeing hope in the second team. Actually, you played quite well, but during the training match, you felt intimidated by your hands and feet. A voice suddenly appeared after itself. If someone else had said that, Yi Tianming would probably have said you can do it, but this person is called Wenba, the champion AD of S8. Yi Tianming was a bit surprised and said, "Wenba." That's right, the person behind him is Wenba, who is also a substitute. At this moment, his face was still unshaven, giving off a hint of a playful vibe. Yi Tianming. Should I be more aggressive? I don't know how to say it either. After thinking for a moment, Yu Wenbo said, but I think AD should output what it can, even if it dies suddenly in the next second. Can you type out what you can? Yi Tianming fell into contemplation. At night. Yi Tianming is lying on the dormitory bed. Seemingly resting, in fact, the system panel has already been called up. ID, Dawn Talent. A, Experience Value. 2%, Skills. Proficient in plundering and repairing knives. Predation. When the post-match data is higher than the opponent's, a certain amount of experience points will be obtained from the opponent. Proficient in repairing knives. The host has solid basic skills, and the success rate of repairing knives increases. Hero Proficiency. Big Mouth, S, Easy, A, Cold Ice, A, Callista, A, Host Properties. Operation. 93 Consciousness. 82 Reaction. 85 Hand Speed. 86 Support. 80 Team Collaboration. 75 Game Understanding. 95 Command. 88 Average Attribute Value. 85 His attributes are actually not bad, and Yu reading www.yuukangshu.net is also at the upper middle level in LPL. Looking back on Wenbo's words, he also felt that he really didn't play like himself. In the second-tier league, he is the man who controls the game, and now he always wants to be a green leaf for his teammates, with all his heart set on stability. I can control Thunderbolt in the secondary league, why can't I control Thunderbolt in LPL? Thinking of this, Yi Tianming had a sudden sense of enlightenment. Because I am too afraid of making mistakes and lack confidence, mistakes tend to emerge one after another. Ding! Congratulations to the host for understanding the skill. Blessing of Courage, oh. Upon hearing the prompt, Yi Tianming quickly looked at the system. Blessing of Courage. Courage and confidence are the seventh equipment of AD. Skill effect. At the beginning of each game, the host can choose any one of 3 random gains to strengthen themselves. P.S. At the end of the game, the gain disappears. Who? After watching the skill effects, Yi Tianming couldn't help but smile at the corner of his mouth, sweeping away his previous frustration. And his luck hasn't ended yet. A few days later, in the game against the Snake team, West's Virus made another mistake and ruined the game. The outside world was filled with curses, and Su Xiaoluo's face turned pale as he turned his gaze to Yi Tianming. Next, you go. He spoke in a deep voice. Yi Tianming squinted his eyes. After waiting for so long, the debut has finally begun. Chapter 4 Crystal. Teaching Newcomers a Lesson. You are listening at novelfull.audio. IG Backend Lounge. The starting 5 team members returned to the backstage, and their expressions clearly affected their mentality. Losing a game is not scary, what's scary is losing a game that can be won, which is the most painful thing. Rookie took a sip of water and remained silent. The shy went to comfort. I'm sorry, West kept repeating and blaming himself. The most aggressive Prince Ning remained silent this time, just holding the back of his head in both hands and looking straight ahead, unsure of what he was thinking. Su Xiaoluo sighed as his anger gradually dissipated. West did indeed do his best, and there was nothing he could do. His talent limited his upper limit, and the Snake team in the summer season was not weak, and they were also teams with a chance to make it to the playoffs. Xiaoxi, you need to adjust off the court first, and let Tianming play up next. Su Xiaoluo made a good decision, thinking that West would feel uncomfortable, but in the end what is the situation? How do you feel like you're still a little happy? Su Xiaoluo's heart began to murmur, but he didn't pay much attention. His gaze turned to Yi Tianming beside him and he said, Tianming, have confidence. Yi Tianming nodded. Steady. As he was about to enter the field, Su Xiaoluo patted his shoulder, indicating that he didn't have much confidence in him. In fact, not only Su Xiaoluo, but also his teammates and coaches are a bit hesitant. After all, Yi Tianming's training results are not ideal. Yi Tianming didn't say much either. Everything he said now is just empty talk. As long as he can win the game, everyone's perception of him will naturally change. Come on, West said sincerely, and the silly Duke came over to cheer him up. Ding! You have received blessings from Koi, lucky +10. Yi Tianming was confused and couldn't help but laugh and cry after checking the system. One of the original features of Duke is Koi, which can add lucky attributes to the entire team when playing. But what he didn't expect was that Duke could trigger the Koi feature even without playing. But what attribute is luck? Among the 8 attributes provided by the system, it seems that there is no lucky one. The system provides an explanation. Luck is hiding special attributes, unpredictable, uncontrollable, and can only increase/decrease under special circumstances. I see. Yi Tianming suddenly realized. He thought about Duke's career, and compared to his strength, his Koi traits were actually more eye-catching. But in fact, Duke's strength is not weak. He is also an A-level talent, and his attributes belong to the top group among A-level talents. In contrast, Blue is also an A-level talent, with significantly lower attributes. In this game, he teamed up with Bao Lan, with Oak and supporting Crystal Brother on the opposite side. I don't know what the attributes of the opponents down road are. As Yi Tianming walked up the field, he thought to himself that he would have to wait and see the attributes of the opponents down road. Commentary seat. Guan Zeyuan and Rita stood in front of the platform. Although Guan Zeyuan is not as popular as later generations, he has already shown his talents in the commentary class with his outstanding business abilities. As for Rita, one of the 4 golden flowers, she is also jokingly referred to by the audience as the explanatory vase. At this moment, the two are still reminiscing about the scene of their last game. The previous round of IG was a bit regrettable, Guan Zeyuan said confidently. It was almost IG's turn, but Virus gave it a chance without a flash. To be honest, West was a bit careless. Unlike the higher brothers, Guan Zeyuan's main focus is on being daring to speak and talk, and not avoiding player mistakes. This has resonated with the audience. They saw West's performance and even IG fans wished they could come up and give him a few punches. Rita rounded up next to her and said, but we can't blame Virus entirely. The Snake team is already a team with a strong ability to seize opportunities, and Virus didn't move, so it's understandable to be caught. Sing and reconcile, the contestants enter. The broadcast footage is given to the contestants in sequence. Perhaps because Yi Tianming is a newcomer, the camera stayed slightly longer on his side. In the live broadcast room of the competition, I saw an unfamiliar player appearing in the IG team, with barrage of question marks and discussions. Who is this handsome guy? It seems like a substitute shooter brought up by IG from the second team. Grass, why don't you have a substitute in the morning? I've been displeased with the West Emperor for a long time. What did you do? Alas, I'm afraid this substitute might not be as good as the Western Emperor. That's true. IG and these 2 marksmen look like ducks, with silver and wax gun heads at first glance. They look mediocre but not useful. I don't even want to expose you, that's pure jealousy. The audience doesn't have much expectation for IG substitutes. What strength can a second team AD have? Do you really have the strength to be a substitute? IG must have lifted the Western Emperor down long ago. But on the other hand, the Western Emperor and his team have had enough of it. Instead of watching the Western Emperor cook for them steadily, it's better to try the water with a different cook. IG fans have even more unrealistic expectations in their hearts. What if these 2 teams of AD are really good? At the commentary booth, Guan Zeyuan held his earphone with his hand and showed a surprised expression. Subsequently, he announced, the anchor has given the news that IG will choose to change their shooter for the second game, West, Dawn. At the first moment of hearing the news, even Guan Zeyuan didn't realize who this Dawn was. Fortunately, I did my homework before the competition and quickly remembered the information about Tianming. Guan Zeyuan. Dawn is the main striker of IG's second team. Recently, he was mentioned by IG to the first team. Don't underestimate Dawn, he has complete control over Thunderbolt in the secondary league and even won the Best Newcomer award. Yes, Rita added, Dawn's player data is also extremely impressive, especially in terms of damage percentage and average point output, which stands out in the second-tier league, far surpassing the second place. Guan Zeyuan said, not playing recently may have been due to adjustment, but now it's almost time for adjustment. Let's look forward to the performance of this LPL newcomer and hope that everyone can give him more encouragement. After a pause, Guan Zeyuan joked, if I remember correctly, Dawn means dawn in dawn. Perhaps Dawn's player is really the dawn of IG, and it's not necessarily so. Ha ha ha. The barrage played ha ha ha, and at the same time, with the popularization of science in the commentary, I had some more expectations for Tianming. On the other side, the Snake team's player seat. Zhu Kai's face immediately showed a strange expression when he saw IG replace the substitute. Is IG seeking medical attention for an urgent illness? West is even better than a second-team shooter. Saint Gun smiled and said, can this be IG's secret weapon? Savm. It's over, we're going to get blown up on our way down. What are you thinking? Yale, second-team AD. Labor and management make it impossible for them to fight with just one hand. Crystal Brother shouted loudly, but it was also his true idea. Although he has become an assistant now, when will it be the turn of the second-team AD to come and compete? In this round, he will give this LPL newcomer a good lesson. At the same time, the screen changed and transformed into a BP interface. BP starts. Chapter 5. What's wrong with Level 1? You are listening at novelfull.audio. In this game, IG is on the blue side and the Snake team is on the red side. BP was prepared before the competition. The Snake team didn't come up with any strange moves. Therefore, IG is also following their own pre-match preparation approach for BP. Overall, there are not many changes to the BP of both sides and the first round. IG's top 3 ban. Mantis, Rock Sparrow, Hammer Stone. The top 3 members of the Snake team are Spider, Jess, and Blind Monk. Immediately after, IG was the first to lock in the hero. Gario, a recently released version of the popular mid laner. Snake team's backhand lock. Female police officer, Zack. Female police officer. Mafa looked at her own AD and said, it seems that the opposite side is about to get stronger. The characteristics of female police officers are long hands and fast line pushing speed. The attack distance can ensure suppression, and the pushing speed can help female police officers control the online initiative, thereby better controlling the pace of tower pushing. Nowadays, the Snake team is directly pulling out the female police officers, obviously intending to treat them as soft persimmons when they go down the road. However, Mafa is indeed a bit worried. Although Oak's performance in LPL is not as good as that of Left Fog, he is still a relatively strong AD. Getting a strong AD puts a lot of pressure on them down the road. I think we can take the ashes, Mafa suggested. Just clear the line on the way down and avoid being crossed. Try to lower the defense tower as slowly as possible. This has also been Mafa's BP strategy. To let go and let go. Tianming smiled bitterly and said, I won't burn. Ah. Mafa awkwardly scratched her head. Because Tianming came for a short time and didn't play many training matches, there was obviously not much communication between the two, and his attention was not on Tianming. Now he is in an awkward situation. Except for Jean, he didn't expect heroes who were too good at dealing with female police officers. Who do you think it would be more comfortable to fight against each other? Mafa asked. Tianming pondered, and the data information of Oak and Crystal Brother came to mind. After a brief review, both the Oak talent and Crystal Brother talent are at level A. The average value of Oak attribute is 85, while Crystal Brother is 82. But the characteristics of Oak are imbalanced, with a strong desire to attack and a loss of judgment ability. Crystal Brother's hand was injured and he didn't hit in his own position. Therefore, Crystal Brother's strength is much lower than his paper strength, and should be around B. By comparison, the hard power of the Snake Team's Down Road duo is obviously not as good as theirs. After analysis, Tianming looked at his coach and said, "Give me some cold ice." Cold ice. Mafa frowned, and cold ice was indeed one of the heroes who was good at hitting female police officers. During the S6 era, cold ice was often used to hit female police officers. The question is, can Tianming really play ice well? Although Han Bing is a novice hero, he is the hero who tests the basic skills of AD the most. He has extremely high requirements for the player's operation, positioning, consciousness, and timing judgment. How about switching to another one? How's Carlista doing? Easy's big mouth is fine, but it can be uncomfortable when facing the line. Tianming said about his hero pool. Mafa fell silent for a moment and gave up struggling as time approached. Let's still be cold ice. On the screen, IG hero confirms. Ice shooter. Cold ice, what do you say? You want to lock it? It's locked. At the commentary booth, Guan Zeyuan gave a full emotional commentary. After seeing cold ice locked in, Guan Zeyuan's eyes flashed with surprise. It seems that Dawn's player has a high status in IG. Bringing cold ice out should be to play against the Snake Team down the road. Rita nodded slightly and agreed, both sides of the AD have a more aggressive style, and the collision in this game is full of gunpowder. Guan Zeyuan smiled and said, I'm a bit looking forward to IG's performance as a young general. Han Bing, this hero, is not as easy to control as it seems. He has seen many players who are good at playing ice, but there are not many players who can truly achieve top-level effects in ice. The barrage didn't react much, and in their eyes, cold ice was just a tool hero, not worth mentioning. Of course, the positioning of cold ice does have a tool human component. The advantage is the C. position, and the disadvantage is the tool person. BP continues. In addition to cold ice, IG has also locked in Prince Ning's signature Prince. The Snake Team backhanded and selected Luo. This move by Luo has enhanced the team's team fighting skills and weakened the Snake Team's attacking ability in the down lane. Mafa breathed a sigh of relief. In this way, their downward pressure will not be as great. The first round of BP ends. Second round. IG gave 2 bans to Kassadin and Vampires, restricting the Snake Team from obtaining the late-game core. The Snake Team is banned defeating Kennen and Crocodiles, targeting the Shy hero pool. Seeing the banned members of the Snake Team, the Shy couldn't help but smile. Tianming knew that the Snake Team's banned position was almost no different from wasting it, because the Shy could win too many heroes. It is worth mentioning that the Shy has 2 characteristics. Unmatched. At its peak, it possesses terrifying solo abilities. Happy game. The mentality is not affected by the game situation and can always maintain a calm judgment ability. Of course, Saint Gun is also a top A-level player with a competitive nature. The desire to win or lose allows him to unleash opposing abilities that surpass his own talents. According to Tianming's analysis, the Shy has a slight advantage in placing orders and does not have much advantage. Of course, the competition is not 1v1, and any situation can happen. If Soft successfully helps Saint Lance establish an advantage, it is normal for Saint Lance to suppress the Shy in turn. The data provided by the system is only for reference, and it does not mean that good data will always win over poor data. It still depends on specific circumstances and analysis. In the blink of an eye, both sides had already selected the last two heroes. IG lock Weapon Master, Lulu. The Snake team has locked in Sword G and the Plane. At this point, all lineups from both sides have been selected. The lineup is as follows. IG, Blue Square. Last Order. Weapon Master Yi. Prince Middle Order. Gario Next Road. Cold Ice Auxiliary. Lulu Snake Team, Red Square. Last Order. GNG Wilderness. Zack Middle Order. Aircraft Down the Road. Female Police Officer Auxiliary. Luo. After the lineup is determined, the players from both sides will exchange heroes with each other. We need to find a rhythm in the early stages of our lineup and not let them develop too comfortably. Mofa spoke mainly to remind Prince Ning and also to remind Yi Tianming and Bao Lan to be careful not to give them a chance. Bao Lan looked at Yi Tianming and said with a smile, "Tianming, it seems we need to prove ourselves." As Yi Tianming adjusted his runes, selected Warfare Enthusiasm, and switched his summoner skill to Healing, Flash, he half-jokingly replied, "Today is the first step for me to make a name for myself." Upon hearing Yi Tianming's words, everyone present couldn't help but be taken aback. They suddenly realized that today's Yi Tianming seemed different from usual. However, before they could think it through, both coaches left the field and the game entered the loading interface. Looking at the screen, Yi Tianming kept flashing data information about the contestants in his mind. The system provided him with a large amount of data. And he has already learned the ability to extract information from data. He said to Bao Lan, "First level with me." Bao Lan was surprised, but still replied, "Okay." The characteristic of Blue is obedience. When commanded, attributes will be improved due to focus, and execution power will be increased to full value. With a flash of light, 10 team members from both sides appeared in their respective springs. In theory, everyone at the first level will go out and occupy a spot. However, the IG Down Road duo appeared in the grass near the Snake Team Down Road in the river. When the broadcast camera showed IG's Down Road duo, Guan Zeyuan immediately widened his eyes and said, "What do you mean? Cold Ice and Dew. What are they doing?" "This." Rita murmured, "Is it just causing trouble at the first level?" Chapter 6. Data Inference, Precise Ambush. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Don't do it. Can't wait for teammate C to stabilize. Alas, newcomers always lack the ability and have many ideas. Seeing that the new AD had just taken an unusual path, the barrage immediately became a commotion. Guan Zeyuan vaguely sensed the intention of IG's two-person group down the road. Want to squat? First level Ice Dew is indeed very strong, but will the Snake team fall for it on the way down? The perspective of the guide kept switching, and finally returned to the duo of IG on the way down. As time goes by, everyone's heartbeat also keeps accelerating. On the other hand, Yi Tianming squatted on the grass while struggling to choose which enhancement to enhance. As the game entered, a system prompt sound rang in his mind. Ding! The Courage Blessing skill is activated. Please choose one of the following 3 enhancements for the host to gain. After the prompt, 3 cards appear on the system interface, with corresponding reinforcement content written on each card. Enhancement 1. Increase overall attributes by 10%. Enhancement 2. Gain plus 50% post-game experience points. Enhancement 3. Randomly possessing a certain feature. There are 3 enhancements in total. The first 2 are simple and clear. One is to increase attributes, and the other is to increase rewards. What troubles Yi Tianming is still the third item. He is well aware of the power of traits, and only players with A.level talents or above or certain special abilities will possess traits. But features not only have good characteristics, but also negative characteristics. The random to gain characteristic is fine, but in case of random to negative characteristic, it would be awkward. After all, it's LPL's debut. After hesitating for a moment, Tianming still chose to strengthen his attributes. Mind touches the first card. The next second, all the cards disappear, and the first card turns into a beam of light that blends into Tianming's body. Congratulations to the successful host gain, overall attributes plus 10%. Looking at the attributes, you can see that the average value of the attributes has increased from 85 to 93. This attribute has reached the level of an S.level talent, but as the saying goes, the data is dead, it reflects the player's upper limit. That is to say, Tianming needs to be at his peak to maintain a competitive state of 93. However, this is impossible as players will be influenced by various factors and their state of mind will fluctuate at any time. But anyway, with this 10% attribute gain, the gap between him and the opponent's down road has widened a bit. Here we go. As the buff refreshed, Baolan saw from his field of view that the Snake team's down road duo was walking towards them. He was a bit surprised, but he didn't expect that, as predicted by Tianming, he would help open the field on the opposite side of the road and then go online from the grass. As the road on the other side approached the grass where they were, Tianming said in a deep voice, "Just hit the female police officer." After giving a response, Baolan stared nervously at the Snake team's exit. "I'm really going to be squatted down by them." At the commentary booth, Guan Zeyuan looked at the screen in surprise. "I thought it was useless, but I didn't expect the policewoman and Luo to actually walk in the direction of the grass." Rita nervously said, "If we go any further, we'll run into each other." The policewoman and Luo haven't realized there's someone in the grass yet. Still walking, the Snake team is still moving forward. Guan Zeyuan was a bit speechless. "That's it. At least this wave needs to be dodged." The words fell, and both sides had already encountered each other. The guide quickly fixed the camera on the next path. I saw that the female police officer was immediately hit by cold ice and dew, and her health plummeted. Oak and Crystal Brother were both surprised and didn't expect an ambush in the grass. The first reaction of Oak was to counterattack, manipulating the policewoman to turn back a Hanbing. "How dare you turn back A without running?" Guan Zeyuan was dumbfounded. Even Bai Yin knew how to get beaten and run away. Tianming didn't expect Oak to play games like this, and his eyes lit up instantly. Can kill. Can kill. His original intention was to flash a flash, but now he has a murderous intent. Bend the bow and shoot the arrow. Cold ice stuck to the female police officer, carrying ice-colored arrows that hit her body in one go. After the critical strike, the female police officer's movement speed further decreased. Sleeping trough. It seems like there is one. The audience also saw the clues and couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. Lo, it seems that the situation is not right. He quickly learns to cross the wall and escape. At this moment, the female police officer also realized something was wrong and the partition flashed. Kill, kill, kill. Tianming's killing intent was determined, and he flashed over the wall to output. Lulu quickly followed suit. The female police officer completed both moves, but was eventually chased to death by Cold Ice and Lulu. First blood. The system's kill prompt sound is on. 1 blood. Wow. Cold Ice has taken a drop of blood. This wave of squatting people has an explanation. Guan Zeyuan immediately shouted loudly, and the barrage also boiled along. 666, Nyo Pai, this can squat to the point where I didn't expect it. Killed by the second team's AD. I was wrong. I spoke loudly just now, and I apologize to the new AD. What did I say earlier? It's still the Newcomers' drive. Shut up upstairs, didn't you just say that newcomers don't have the ability and have many ideas? After killing the female police officer, Cold Ice Lulu walked towards the line. Zack hesitated for a moment, but in the end, he didn't come over to trouble the two of them and went up to brush the wild. The Snake team was stunned when they heard a sound of blood. What was the situation? Just got one hit at the beginning of the game. On the other side, there is a person. Who would have thought that a newcomer would dare to play games like this? Crystal explained and his teammates signaled to stabilize the road. Crystal brother remained stubborn and said, "What are you afraid of if you give them a shot of blood? You still have to suppress them on the way down." My teammates smiled, but they didn't worry too much about the next move. They knew their own strength in the next move, and if IG had a blue team and a new player, even if they couldn't suppress their own moves, there shouldn't be any problems. IG player seat. Nas, get off the road. Prince Ning generously praised him, and the two brothers from Shangzhong also gave him a thumbs up. Baolan, on the other hand, was a little puzzled. Tianming, how did you know they would leave from here? The risk of first level squatting on grass is actually very high. Not squatting enough will affect the rhythm, and if you happen to come across the other person hugging and coming out, it will make you want to cry without tears. So, Baolan was very curious about why Yi Tianming dared to command him so confidently to squat on the grass. Aren't he afraid of taking the blame if something goes wrong? I guessed, Yi Tianming replied. Baolan. He wanted to say that I believe you a ghost, but on second thought, this explanation was also reasonable. It's not just a guess that's unreasonable. However, Yi Tianming was not a guess, but a conclusion drawn through data analysis. Sovm belongs to the type of wild play that is relatively greedy, and it is highly likely that all wild areas will be cleared in the first round. At the beginning of the Zack buff, you need to go down the road for help. After Yu reads the book www.yuyukeangshu.net, if you don't want to lose troops, you need to go down the road from this position in the grass. There are two key factors to successfully ambush. One reason is that the Snake team played a bit casually on the way down, not thinking too much. The second is that the Snake team's first-level visual field control and positioning are relatively loose. Vision, rhythm, and details are the real differences between weak and strong teams. If it were a strong team, Yi Tianming wouldn't dare to play in this way. After receiving 1 health, Cold Ice didn't have a chance to go back and replenish his equipment, but instead returned to the battlefield to organize his troops. Seeing that the military line was pushing towards his own side, Yi Tianming decided to start controlling the line. The female police officer resurrected and went online, subconsciously wanting to push the troops into the defense tower. However, as the female police officer raised her hand to repair the knife, Yi Tianming manipulated Cold Ice to move forward and AWA stuck to the female police officer. Luo W came to lift Cold Ice, but Cold Ice seemed to have given early warning. Instead, he slightly twisted his body and used his walking position to turn away Luo's grand appearance. Twisted open. This move. Guan Zeyuan took a cold breath and said, Cold Ice turned around and made a grand appearance, still chasing policewoman A. Rita. The female police officer felt that A was just Cold Ice, and Lulu also followed over. Time and time again, oh my, the policewoman was too uncomfortable by A. At this moment, Guan Zeyuan felt a pang of pain for Oak. In the game, the female police officer was not chased to death, but her health was relatively weak and she was driven out of the knife repair area. In terms of momentum, IG has the absolute upper hand on the down road. IG Backend Lounge. Mafa and Su Xiaoluo exchanged a glance of surprise. Su Xiaoluo lightly tapped the armrest with his fingers and murmured, the state of Tianming today seems completely different. Chapter 7 Guan Zeyuan. I really don't believe you said he didn't open it. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yi Tianming's strength surprised everyone. The Barrage 666 filled the screen, and even Guan Zeyuan couldn't help but exclaim, IG, this young general played with a bit of confidence. The cold ice operation may seem ordinary, but it requires a strong ability to seize opportunities. The most important thing is to dare to fight, not panic in the face of the well-known senior, and even turn around Luo's grand appearance by walking. Rita's eyes flashed with a hint of brilliance as she said, in that case, the snake team will feel uncomfortable on their way down. The female police officer is bleeding, and the line is advancing towards the direction of cold ice and dew. As the soldiers were constantly consumed, Oak's forehead was sweating and his heart was restless. Crystal Brother frowned and said, "We need to push the thread in. If the line cannot enter, the minions will be consumed in vain. Female police officers should not be at a disadvantage when selected. What they need to do now is to control the line back and go home to repair it." But with the strength of the two, it was obvious that they could not push the icy and dewy lines of the army. So, Crystal Brother sent a signal to Danya, signaling Zack to come down and help push the wave line. However, at the beginning of Zack's lower half, Sofm did not want to lose development. Therefore, although I saw the signal from the crystal, I did not immediately go down the road. Instead, I wanted to go back to the city to help after finishing the first round of wild monsters. In just a few minutes, it was an agony for the snake team to get off the road. When Sofm rushed down the road, he suddenly realized that the gap had already formed. Especially after seeing the data from both sides, Sofm couldn't help but be surprised. The female police officer received less than 10 additional knives, and her level was one level behind that of Cold Ice Lulu. This gap is already unacceptable for female police officers who need early advantages. Sofm was surprised by the alignment on the way down, but keenly noticed that the Ice Dew soldier line was pushing towards them. That's right, Cold Ice and Dew can no longer control the military line, and it is inevitable that the military line will push back. There is an opportunity. Sofm's eyes shone brightly as he controlled Zack to crouch in the grass on the lower road. But when the policewoman and Luo saw Zack coming, they were both delighted but remained calm on the surface, allowing the Cold Ice and Dew to push their troops forward. IG has no view on the way down, Zack is next to him, and this wave of pushing will cause problems. From a divine perspective, one can clearly see the darkness in the lower half of IG. IG mainly focuses on the upper half and has never taken much care of the lower half. Guan Zeyuan analyzed the pros and cons. The snake team has already collapsed on the way down. As long as Cold Ice and Lulu are not caught dead, it will be difficult to play with the snake team after equipping. However, if caught dead, the snake team can be reconnected on the way down. There's no view around. Now let's see if the two of them on IG's way can be aware of the danger, Rita said. Everyone stared at the screen. As Cold Ice and Dew continued to advance, I thought to myself that I was still young. Even though I had gained an advantage with a reckless force, I was afraid I would have to give back my advantage now. In the game, Tianming suddenly had an ominous feeling in his heart as he advanced. His gaze swept over the small map, and the darkness at the entrance made him palpitate. "Push slowly," said Tianming. The blue movement almost slows down synchronously. Tianming looked in his eyes and was amazed by the execution power of Baolan. The advantage of Baolan is that it doesn't have so many ideas, and when given a command, it will execute without hesitation. IG slowed down the pace of pushing the line. Guan Zeyuan. Did you realize it? The atmosphere began to become tense. Push it. Hurry up and push it. Crystal Brother was anxious in his heart, and Oak was not much better. He kept using signals to point at the location of Cold Ice, meaning to open it. Under the fluctuation of emotions, Luo and the female police officer instinctively moved forward. Tianming was keenly aware of this. He had already faintly sensed the crisis and had been watching the snake team's every move down the road. Seeing that the two of them had the intention of moving forward, I immediately made a judgment in my heart. Someone. Don't push, go back. Yi Tianming made a decisive decision, which left Baolan confused. Back. Don't want the thread anymore. However, Yi Tianming's tone was resolute, and Baolan had a soft temper. He quickly returned to the city with Han Bing. Hua. Can this thread hold back and not push? Guan Zeyuan exclaimed in surprise and said firmly, I have realized it. I am absolutely aware of it, otherwise anyone who changes this line will have to push it forward. Rita also exclaimed, it's so stable. Ha! Snake Team Backstage Lounge. Seeing IG giving up his troops and avoiding Zack's gank on the way down, Zhu Kai's eyes suddenly changed slightly. He found that he seemed to underestimate this second team AD. So far, the attack and defense of Cold Ice have been moderate, and the knife repair is steady. On the contrary, it was the female police officer of Oak who was out of control. He saw that the female police officer missed a cannon. The seemingly inconspicuous mistake is enough to indicate that Oak's heart has begun to be in turmoil. The smile on Zhuo Wu's face, who came to supervise the war, had long disappeared. Zhu Kai looked at him, knowing that he shouldn't laugh, but deep down he couldn't help but want to laugh. In order to invite Oak to join the team, Zhuo Wu went to the country of Bangzi, imitating Liu Bei's 3 visits to Incheon, and finally invited Oak into the team, earning the title of Jiangzhuo Wulong. Now, the Wulong that Zhuo Wu had put in a lot of effort to hire was thrown into chaos by a second team AD, which can be called a century joke. Looking up at the screen again, Cold Ice Lulu has completed the equipment rewiring. Zhu Kai compared the equipment of both sides and sighed inwardly that the matchup was coming to an end. However, in the next second, Zhu Kai's expression flickered and his eyes lit up. Zack's squatting failed, and Soph had a sudden idea. After finishing brushing the wild monsters in the lower half of the area, he turned back again. At this moment, Zack's level seems to be at level 5, and the third level E skill can pass through thick walls and unexpectedly perform gank. Yu reading www.yuyukangshu.net. He crouched on the side of the Snake Team's defense tower, close to the wall, with his real eyes down and no view. Mei Kai twice. Upon seeing this scene, Guan Zeyuan couldn't help but take a soft breath and say, who would have thought that Zack was so squatting. Rita pursed her lips and said, I feel a bit targeted. We must give a lesson to the newcomers. Guan Zeyuan smirked and said, I feel like IG will really suffer this time, but I think it's understandable. He hasn't finished speaking yet. The next second, Cold Ice pulled up his long bow and a light eagle crossed the canyon. When passing through the lower half of IG, Zack's field of view appears. The visual field has a very short appearance time, but it is already sufficient for professional players. Cold Ice and Lulu quickly retreated and escaped once again. Soph furrowed his brow. Both opportunities are perfectly avoided on the opposite side, and his rhythm is inevitably affected. Wow! Off the stage, the audience was in an uproar. At the same time, the barrage in the live broadcast room exploded instantly. What kind of immortal consciousness? Soph is numb. Is there a sensor on IG's way down? 2 waves of blind field to avoid gank. He can hold back the key type of military line. I suspect he has quit smoking. The barrage is brushing wildly. On the commentator's chair, Guan Zeyuan's old face turned red, and he hit his face too fast. Rita looked at her partner with a half smile, teasing, what do you say? Guan Zeyuan's face had already been honed, and at this moment, he pretended to be exaggerated with a hint of amazement and said, you can realize this. I really don't believe you said he didn't open it. Chapter 8. Full Fire, Newcomer Fierce. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yi Tianming used the Ice E skill to discover Zack's position, while also eliminating the potential crisis in the future. Baolan couldn't help but take a glance in the direction of Yi Tianming, feeling amazed beyond words. Today's Yi Tianming made him feel unfamiliar, even suspecting that he might have been with a different person. "Zack is on his way down," Yi Tianming gave the message. My teammates took action immediately after receiving the information. The Shy possesses unparalleled characteristics and rarely encounters opponents on 1v1. After confirming that he was not on the road in the wilderness, the weapon master jumped onto the sword and took the initiative to exchange blood. Saint Gun Brother's competitive spirit ignited, and he decisively counterattacked. If Yi Tianming goes to check the attribute values of Saint Gun Brother at this time, he can see that his attribute values are increasing crazily, not inferior to the Shy at all, and even some attributes have exceeded them. Both of them are top-level players in the field of matchmaking, and now they are both eager to compete. Be on guard. At the moment when the weapon master jumped on his face, Sword Lady Lauren used her heartfelt knife. However, the weapon master took a small step and turned on his sword energy while the sword GW skill was delayed. Immediately after, AW heavily hammered Jianji, who fired an AE backhand but hit the E skill of the weapon master. However, at the moment when the second stage E of the weapon master was triggered, Jianji pulled back a short distance from Q and also stabbed the weapon master's flaw. Both sides exchange blood fiercely, and there is a trend of endless death. Everyone glanced at it and exclaimed that it was satisfying. At this moment, the prince had quietly appeared behind Jianji. Ah! The prince has come, and Jianji's health should not be able to leave. Guan Zeyuan explained that Prince EQ predicted the position behind Sword G. Flash. Jianji flashed, while Prince Ning chuckled in his heart. Prince EQ flashed and Tiaofei used Jianji, who flashed. Sigh. Saint Gun let out a light sigh, there was no more room for operation. The prince killed Jianji. Guan Zeyuan said, this is the chain reaction of Zack Gank's failure. Jianji will have a very uncomfortable time playing on the road. Rita. I feel like it would be better if Jianji didn't play. Many people laughed heartily upon hearing it. What's the point of choosing a sword lady if you don't fight? Good news has been reported on the road. Zack dared not waste any more time on the way down, so he quickly went up to Jianji, who had not dodged on the road, to prevent Jianji from being trained by the military. After Zack left, he was hit hard on the way down. Yi Tianming relied on his developmental advantage to manipulate the cold ice crossover line to suppress female police officers. Rookie looked at the severity of the road pressure and said after reaching level 6, just press down on the road, I can arrive earlier than the plane. Chicken brother. Yi Tianming's heart warmed. With the presence of Brother Ji, he set aside his last concerns and unleashed all his firepower to suppress them, sometimes even driving the Snake team out of the experience zone. Such extreme exploitation can only be described as dismal development for female police officers. Looking at the repair knife again, it turned out to be more than twice the difference with cold ice. This. Guan Zeyuan was stunned and said, no, he's just bullying people too much, isn't he? Is it so oppressive? Rita also exclaimed, it's like a rank. At this moment, the barrage completely changed direction, with barrage comments such as, IG everything is fine, don't worry about the West Emperor, flashing one after another. In the game, Cold Ice is once again shooting 10,000 arrows in unison. Coincidentally, the words, making them unable to lift their heads, in Cold Ice voice were incredibly fitting. When the camera is directed to Oak, it is clear to see that his face is as rosy as if it has been dyed. Oak, what's going on? Why is your face so red? Is it possible that it's too hot? What about the referee? Turn down the air conditioning a bit and help Oak cool down. Looking at the popular Oak, the live broadcast room was filled with joyful bullet comments. However, the more explosive the Oak mentality, the more obvious the imbalanced characteristics become. Several positioning mistakes were seized by Yi Tianming, and although they did not result in killing, they further squeezed the female police officer's blood and development space. The only downside is that cold ice and dew have a strong ability to consume while their ability to retain and kill is relatively average. Tianming originally wanted to ask the prince to come down from the tower, but he saw that the prince had been on the road all along, but in the end, he remained silent. As the time approached 7 minutes, the policewoman and Luo were beaten into a shrunken turtle, almost always huddled inside the defense tower. Nevertheless, the female police officer's health is still consumed to below half health. Tianming marked his ultimate move with a murderous intent flashing in his eyes. He was almost able to reach level 6, and the Frost's ultimate move, Magic Crystal Arrow, was an excellent way to open a team. Cold Ice walked into the grass, preventing her own vision from being exposed to her opponent's eyes. Baolan understood and seemed to have accidentally killed a soldier before hiding in the grass. The ice is at level 6, and I don't know if the snake team will go down yet, Guan Zeyuan explained with intention. Dawn pretended to return to the city, but actually got stuck in a level difference in the grass to find a chance. It depends on whether this magic crystal arrow can hit the female police officer. Before she could finish speaking, the female police officer couldn't resist the temptation of the military line and didn't care if Cold Ice and Lulu really returned to the city, moving forward to eat the line. Whoosh! Everyone's gaze suddenly focused on the huge crystal arrow shot by Cold Ice. This arrow has a sharp angle and is a sudden cold arrow. Oak's pupils contracted, and the crystal arrow got closer and closer to him. Can you make it? Tianming squinted his eyes and didn't feel surprised when he saw the female police officer dodge and dodge. After all, players with A-level talents always have 2 tricks. Guan Zeyuan said, "This arrow hit the killer." The female police officer's reaction was really fast. Rita. It's a bit regrettable. Unfortunately. Tianming doesn't think so. How will the female police officer who hasn't flashed play in the next 5 minutes? I told my teammates that the snake team has no skills on the way down, and Yu reading www.yuukangshu.net, Ning Wang finally arrived late. After hoarding a wave of troops and entering the tower, the prince didn't have much to say. After EQ forced the female police officer's E-skill, the ultimate move was to directly cover the female police officer. Cold Ice and Lulu stepped forward to output, and Luo had little ability to protect the female police officer. Although he controlled the prince carrying the tower, the prince had rough skin and thick flesh, and Lulu was protecting him. Luo could only watch as the female police officer was forcefully killed. Guan Zeyuan sympathized with Oak and said, "This is the worst female police officer I have ever seen. This developing female police officer is basically useless. Female police officers are heroes who cannot be inferior." Seeing that the female police officer's development is too poor, Luo Guo broke off and went for a walk, leaving the female police officer to develop alone on the way down. At first, Tianming was worried about an ambush, but after Luo appeared on the road, he immediately summoned Lulu to press forward and push the female police officer out of the range of a tower. Immediately after, Cold Ice Dew successfully pushed down a tower, which was also a health tower for this game. Soldier line plus kill plus defense tower, the 3 economies are stacked together. In just over 13 minutes, the Cold Ice equipment has become shoes plus dilapidation plus long sword plus real eye. At the same time, news of the weapon master being killed came along the way. The snake team deployed 4 people to grab onto the road, but even if Gario was admitted to Jiaodong University, he couldn't secure it. The master of killing weapons breathed a sigh of relief for the snake team, but before they could be happy, Cold Ice Lulu was ambushed near the upstream river at some point. At the moment when the plane appeared in front of its own F6, a magical crystal arrow with predictive properties flew towards the plane. The plane instinctively turned towards its own defense tower, but surprisingly, the location of the magic crystal arrow happened to be the landing point of the plane's W skill. What? Seeing this scene, everyone's eyes instantly became straight, with only one thought in their minds. How could a newcomer be so fierce? Who is the prey in Chapter 9, he plays 1-4. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Predicted. The posture is a bit confused. This arrow has a visually explosive effect. The barrage once again fills the screen with 666 bullets. After the plane was charged, Tianming controlled the front AW on the cold ice to stick to the plane. Lulu accelerated her shield and threw it all at cold ice. Shoo, shoo. The cold ice with damage and dew for enhancement has changed the stereotypical impression of people scraping, and the aircraft's health is like water breaking a dam, visibly decreasing. But now, relying on the flickering posture in his hand, his face has changed. Not good. The cold ice damage exceeded his expectations, and by the time the plane flashed, his health had already been reduced. What's even more terrifying is that at the moment of the plane's flash, the active effect of ice breaking sucked on the plane, causing the ice to move faster again. Ice accelerates and the plane slows down. According to canyon relativity, airplanes are equivalent to being confined. The plane couldn't pull away and was once again stuck by cold ice. Cold ice is still chasing. The plane should not be able to run away. Guan Zeyuan looked at the screen and said, "Cold ice's arrow is too deadly." Rita's heart was filled with a murmur, "Is cold ice so strong?" Not only Rita, many people can't help but itch their hands as they watch the wild shooting of cold ice, recalling the time when they first started playing League of Legends. Someone exclaimed, "I remember the first hero I played with was Cold Ice. It's been an unknown amount of time since I last touched this hero." Indeed, I was overwhelmed by the high score and forgot my original intention. Watching this newcomer play, I don't feel that Cold Ice is that weak either. There is no strongest hero, only the strongest summoner. Watching Cold Ice shine brightly in the competition, the barrage was filled with infinite emotions. Immediately after, the system sounded a system alert that the plane had been killed. Nice. It's dawn. Watching the plane being caught by cold ice, my teammates shouted in the voice. Prince Ning exclaimed in surprise, "All right, it's time to operate." Tianming chuckled and enjoyed the atmosphere very much. He crossed paths. Baolan said, "The sky was a bit thin just now, and the damage was kept until the plane flashed before it was used." Although this game is not over yet, Baolan has been impressed by Tianming's skills. Not only because of the operation, but also because of Tianming's keen sense of competition. The backstage rest room of the Snake team, everyone was silent while watching. From the situation, the overall situation of this game is basically over. Analyst. The newcomer IG has performed a bit well. Suo Wu's face is not very attractive. There's still a chance, Zhu Kai said. Wait for GNG to take it alone and drag it to the double C shape before it can be played. That's what they said, but everyone knew in their hearts that it would be as difficult for GNG to lead a famous haul. After dismantling the tower on the next road, Cold Ice and Dew sat on the middle road. The Snake team wanted to use Kenji to pull on the sidelines, but IG had Gario available to support the sidelines at any time, so Kenji dared not fight or go deep into the sidelines. The Snake team's side zone plan has been shelved, and instead, the Weapon Master is thriving on the single zone line. A few minutes later, the Weapon Master took down the defensive tower on the road, while the Prince cooperated with Gario to put pressure on the side of the middle road, allowing Tianming's Cold Ice to grind the health of the Snake team's middle tower. At this moment, the Snake team's middle defense tower has only 1/3 health left. With a few more waves of troops, Cold Ice can dismantle this defense tower. "You can't put it in the middle of the tower," said the posture. The central tower has a unique geographical location, which not only makes it difficult to grab the midline but also increases the pressure on the field of view. It's not easy to play. Sovm. The development of Cold Ice is too good, unless it can be instantly knocked off. Second Cold Ice. Several members of the Snake team fell silent. With due protection, it's not easy to feel cold and icy in a second. Soften continued, I drove well and had a chance. The question now is whether or not to fight. The chances of winning are not high even if we drag it down. Several team members had a brief exchange and finally decided to adapt to the situation. In the blink of an eye, the health of the Snake team's middle defense tower was precarious. Guan Zeyuan said, the troops are coming over, and the tower in the Snake team is about to fall. Go up to the tower on the cold ice. At this moment, Zack, who was hiding on the side, suddenly squatted and jumped, flying straight towards the cold ice. Zack is on. Luo is also taking action from the front. Guan Zeyuan's pupils shrank and he spoke at a fast pace. Luo lightly dances in pairs and takes a big move to startle the swan through the gap. He makes a grand appearance to lift the cold ice. Can we avoid it? This incident surprised everyone present, and they didn't expect the shrinking Snake team to suddenly launch a challenge. Tianming was also startled, but his reaction was extremely fast. As soon as he saw the glow on Luo's body, he handed over a flash. He is well aware of the unsolvable nature of the R/W team in this version of Luo, so he would rather take the risk of losing the flash and hand it over first. At the next moment, Luo's grand appearance appeared in the position before the flash of cold ice. Oh my goodness! Guan Zeyuan looked at the screen in shock. Cold ice dodged Luo's opening. What a terrifying reaction speed. Crystal Brother was even more horrified. Although Luo played mediocre, with preparation, the R/W was almost completed in one go. Even if it was Uzi on the other side, he had confidence to drive it, and the result, look at me. Suddenly, Sofm's voice came. After Zack landed, he flashed onto cold ice Lulu's face and collapsed into a circle. That's right, it's Zack's ultimate move after the redesign, which can forcibly displace enemy heroes. The art of changing sheep. Lulu quickly gave her skills, but it was useless. Zack's ultimate move was immune control. Lulu dodged and pulled out Zack's ultimate move range, but could only watch as the motionless ice was taken by Zack to the vicinity of the IG defense tower. Cold ice has been taken back. Big head. Guan Zeyuan looked at the position of Han Bing and almost sentenced him to death. However, Tianming was particularly calm at the moment. Yu reading www.yuyukangshu.net commanded, Lulu, hurry up and drop the tower. Baolan reacted and manipulated Lulu to drop defense tower A, which was already full of health. Without the damage from the defense tower, Tianming quietly breathed a sigh of relief, and his eyes instantly became sharp. A group of underdeveloped guys, it's not certain who the prey is. At this moment, Cold Ice is equipped with a 2-piece set. Shoes, split bow, and broken, with a fully developed crown and Lulu Gario's protection. Even if there are 4 people on the opposite side, what are they afraid of? At this moment, Tianming's arrogance surged. Kill. Grow up quickly. As soon as Cold Ice landed and stepped on the clamp, Lulu gave her ultimate move and shield. Immediately after, a layer of golden light appeared around the Cold Ice. Gario's ultimate move. Heroes appear. Ha! Guan Zeyuan said, the Snake team doesn't seem to have enough damage here. All skills were infused onto Cold Ice, and Cold Ice only lost 1/3 of its health. And the next second, everyone's eyes showed a look of shock. On the screen, Cold Ice bathed in golden light, unexpectedly moving forward instead of retreating, with an astonishing sharpness emanating from its bows and arrows, pointing straight at the plane. Shoo, shoo. With the combination of Q skill and split bow, the Cold Ice is like shooting the sun and Hui. While the aircraft's health is decreasing at a terrifying speed, the Cold Ice's health is slowly increasing. I can't hold it anymore. After finishing speaking, he quickly controlled the plane to pull back a distance, but was once again caught by the icy arrow of the icy move. The plane was the first to die in action. After the main output of the plane died in battle, Zack, Luo, and the female police officers knew they were invincible and had a strong desire to retreat. Externally, the audience was surprised to see Cold Ice chasing the Snake team behind 3 people and couldn't close their mouths. He's on a dozen or 4. Chapter 10. Successful Debut, Redemption of Scores. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the screen, the 3 members of the Snake team were shot by Cold Ice and fled into the wilderness. To everyone's surprise, Guan Zeyuan said, "No one can handle this Cold Ice anymore." Rita. It's hard to imagine he's still a newcomer. Upon hearing Rita's words, the audience realized that this was just Tianming's first game at LPL. I really enjoyed it. I'll just say that our LPL is rich in AD. Previously, there was Uzi Ma's uncle, and the new generation has gone through A, JK, and Eboi. Now there's another Dawn. Do you think Dawn has a chance to become the 4th AD of the new generation? This is only one game, don't brag. The barrage fell into discussion. So far, Tianming's performance has received praise from the majority of the audience. At the same time, the fleeing Snake team's trio has been slowing down by the Cold Ice's 10,000 arrows. The prince arrived late, and EQ cooperated with the big move to enter and kill Luo in seconds, while also trapping the female police officer in the big move. Tianming controls Cold Ice to output female police officers and kills them. Seeing the data rise, a smile couldn't help but appear on my face. To increase experience points quickly, data must be gorgeous. Take my head, King Ning muttered, wanting to pursue Zack again, but Zack had already used his E skill to distance himself. 0 for 3. You're playing well, Dawn. Rookie spoke fluently in an XJ accent. The main thing is to keep it safe, Tianming said humbly. I didn't do anything, I just kept AAA. My teammate smiled and said this to deceive the layman. They knew what was going on in their hearts. Baolon roast that Tianming rushed too fast, and his heart was tired of chasing after him. My teammate laughed again, and Ning Wang couldn't help but say, at first, I thought you were going to be gone, but I didn't expect you to be able to fight back. As he spoke, he couldn't help but feel a little puzzled and said, You're much stronger than the training competition at Dawn. You've been playing like this long ago. I also just adapted to the LPL rhythm. Seeing everyone chatting passionately, the Shy also wanted to participate, but unfortunately, her Chinese was average and she could only act in a hurry. The atmosphere in the voice is relaxed. With this wave of 0 exchange 3 completed, the Snake team has no chance to turn the tables again. The middle tower was broken, causing a significant increase in visual pressure on the Snake team. At this moment, the power of Cold Ice's ultimate move was reflected. As long as there is a big move, Tianming will use the big move to draw a prize, with a record of winning 1 out of 4 times and a success rate of 25%. Although the success rate may not be high, this arrow is exceptionally crucial. Because the dragon had already refreshed for 2 minutes, IG was worried about not being able to find the rhythm, and as a result, Cold Ice launched an attack, causing Luo to be killed. Reducing staff at this time is like adding insult to injury for the Snake team. IG decisively disconnected the dragon. 4 people fighting dragons on the front, with 1 teleportation weapon master on the sideline. On the single line, the weapon master wanted to press down on Jianji's head and quickly brought the weapon line to the position of the second tower, and then carried the weapon line to dismantle the tower. For a while the Snake team had to bear the pressure of the dragon, the sidelines were also in jeopardy. Will De Long fight or not? I can't beat a team. I can't hold on anymore. Seeing my teammate still struggling, the Holy Spear Gordon was in a hurry and was about to be dismantled to his home on the way down. Why are you still hesitating to fight? My teammate reacted and knew that a decision had to be made. Sovm. I'll try to grab it, you guys go catch the weapon master. Okay. Everyone responded. This is already the best way to deal with the current situation. On the other hand, the health of the dragon rapidly declined. Be careful, Zack grabs the dragon. Tianming looked at the dragon's health and couldn't help but remind him. Zack is a good fighter for robbing the dragon. If the dragon is robbed, it will really ruin the dragon's life. He can't grab it. Ning Wang was very confident, but Tianming insisted, we can stop and wait for Zack to jump over by himself. Prince Ning was somewhat displeased, feeling that Tianming did not trust him. Baolan agreed with Tianming's proposal and said, I think we can stop for now. The Shy is not involved on the single track, while Rookie agrees to stop. 3 votes against 1 vote, and even Prince Ning had to submit to the majority with a minority. So, when the dragon's health reached 3,000, several IG team members stopped at the right time. Stopped. I'm afraid Zack might steal the dragon. Guan Zeyuan said, now there's no view in the dragon pit, and Zack can only jump in based on his feelings if he wants to steal the dragon. Jumped. Suddenly, Rita looked at the screen and instinctively raised her voice. Not long after the IG team members stopped, Zack exerted his E skill to the maximum distance and then bounced towards the position behind the dragon pit. When passing by the dragon pit, Zack directly handed over the punishment, only to realize that IG had stopped. The dragon still had over 2,000 health after being punished by him. Sigh. Sovm sighed silently, but there was nothing he could do. Longking has no vision, so he can only try to grab the dragon based on his feelings. However, what he didn't expect was that IG's advantage was so strong, and it was so stable that it didn't look like IG's. It's a pity that I didn't get it, Guan Zeyuan said. Now that IG has taken over the dragon, the economic gap is almost 10,000. This gap is already difficult to make up for with operations, unless there is a particularly strong team in team battles. After capturing the dragon, the weapon master was also captured and killed by several members of the snake team. But it doesn't matter anymore. After the weapon master is resurrected, IG will use the 41-point line to advance again. The 2 pressures put pressure on the snake team, and they must defend separately. The snake team divided the female police officer Jian Ji into 2 people to guard the lower route, while the middle route left behind the plane, Luo, and Zack. At the moment when the snake team split up, Tianming seized the opportunity and suddenly launched the magic crystal arrow. The attitude of the plane startled, but Tianming's target was not him, but the more agile Luo. Bang! Unexpectedly, Yu reading www.yuukangshu.net Luo was knocked unconscious by an ice arrow in place. Without giving Luo a chance to change control, Gario was the first to take control, and then Luo took the sheep-changing spell. Before Luo could release control, he was killed by several members of IG. Push the tower first. The high tower in the middle of the snake team broke down in response to the sound, and at the same time, a good news came down the road. The weapon master bravely killed the female police officer against the defense tower and sword concubine, but to be outrageous, the weapon master's remaining blood also pulled the position apart. After installing B, I can still run. Who can bear it? The morale of the snake team has dropped to a low point, and their defensive strength has weakened by a few points. Another wave of troops arrived, and IG took advantage of the situation to break through the middle and lower highlands, and then followed the super soldiers to suppress the front teeth tower. I feel like there's going to be a wave, Guan Zeyuan said. The snake team's lineup has a bit of a poor ability to clear the line, and IG can completely dismantle the base. As the words fell, one of the snake team's front teeth towers had already fallen off. At this moment, Zack and Luo suddenly formed a team, as they had been looking for opportunities. This time, their goal is still cold ice. Tianming sneered. It's not an exaggeration to say that now he has turned on automatic leveling A, and Zack and Luo can't do anything about him. Facing the opening of Zack and Luo's team, he remained calm at all. After the control was lifted, his teammates had already dismantled another front-tooth tower. At this moment, the Snake team only has one naked crystal left. Tianming's cold ice stood in front of the spring, and the Snake team members dared not show their heads due to one person's injury. Just as he was about to brush the damage to perfection, the screen suddenly froze. The Snake team crystal exploded with a loud explosion. Let's congratulate IG. As the commentator announced the match results, IG won the game and the current score is 1.1.